Harper Audio presents The Mirror Cracked from Side to Side by Agatha Christie, performed by Emilia Fox. Out flew the web and floated wide. The mirror cracked from side to side. "The curse is come upon me," cried the Lady of Shalott. Alfred Tennyson. Chapter 1. Miss Jane Marple was sitting by her window. The window looked over her garden, once a source of pride to her. That was no longer so. Nowadays she looked out of the window and winced. Active gardening had been forbidden her for some time now. No stooping, no digging, no planting, at most a little light pruning. Old Laycock, who came 3 times a week, did his best, no doubt. But his best, such as it was, which was not much, was only the best according to his lights, and not according to those of his employer. Miss Marple knew exactly what she wanted done, and when she wanted it done, and instructed him duly. Old Laycock then displayed his particular genius, which was that of enthusiastic agreement and subsequent lack of performance. "That's right, missus. We'll have them Mecasopes there and the Canterburies along the wall, and as you say, it ought to be got on with first thing next week." Laycock's excuses were always reasonable, and strongly resembled those of Captain George's in 3 Men in a Boat for avoiding going to sea. In the captain's case, the wind was always wrong, either blowing offshore or inshore, or coming from the unreliable west or the even more treacherous east. Laycock's was the weather. Too dry, too wet, waterlogged, a nip of frost in the air. Or else something of great importance had to come first, usually to do with cabbages or Brussels sprouts, of which he liked to grow inordinate quantities. Laycock's own principles of gardening were simple, and no employer, however knowledgeable, could wean him from them. They consisted of a great many cups of tea, sweet and strong, as an encouragement to effort, a good deal of sweeping up of leaves in the autumn, and a certain amount of bedding out of his own favourite plants, mainly asters and salvias, to "make a nice show," as he put it, in summer. He was all in favour of syringing roses for greenfly, but was slow to get around to it, and a demand for deep trenching for sweet peas was usually countered by the remark that you ought to see his own sweet peas. A proper treat last year, and no fancy stuff done beforehand. To be fair, he was attached to his employers, humoured their fancies in horticulture, so far as no actual hard work was involved. But vegetables he knew to be the real stuff of life. A nice Savoy, or a bit of curly kale. Flowers were fancy stuff, such as ladies like to go in for, having nothing better to do with their time. He showed his affection by producing presents of the aforementioned asters, salvias, lobelia edging, and summer chrysanthemums. "Been doing some work at them new houses over at the development. Want their gardens laid out nice, they do. More plants than they needed, so I brought along a few, and I've put 'em in where them old-fashioned roses ain't looking so well." Thinking of these things, Miss Marple averted her eyes from the garden and picked up her knitting. One had to face the fact. St Mary Mead was not the place it had been. In a sense, of course, nothing was what it had been. You could blame the war, both the wars, or the younger generation, or women going out to work, or the atom bomb, or just the government. But what one really meant was the simple fact that one was growing old. Miss Marple, who was a very sensible lady, knew that quite well. It was just that, in a queer way...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?